Good day everyone and welcome again to my channel English One-on-One. Today we shall be looking at 20 grammar and sentence construction rules that you ought to remember for your CSEC English A examination. Let's just jump right in. A sentence is considered grammatically unacceptable if it contains a double negative, that is, one or two negative terms. For example, the teacher, Mrs. Chambers, did not give the students new homework. The words not and no are negative terms, hence the sentence is unacceptable. The correction to this sentence would read, the teacher, Mrs. Chambers, did not give the students any homework. Now, when you identify sentences where that contains double negative for where CXC is concerned under the section error recognition, then you would have to choose option C, faulty in diction or grammar. Be very careful with sentences that have indefinite pronouns as the subject of the sentence, as there are some indefinite pronouns that may require either a plural or singular verb based on how they are used in the sentence. For example, some of the competitors were ill. Sentence 2, some of the food was eaten on sports day. So you would have seen that some is the head subject of both sentences. However, some were in sentence 1 and some was in sentence 2. And that, of course, is dependent on how the sentence is used. Now, in the first sentence, some is in relation to the competitors. And this, of course, we can actually count the number of competitors. And so here we have a countable noun, right? And then of course, some in the second sentence is in reference to food. And because we cannot count, we can only answer the question how much of the food was eaten. We could say some of it. And because we can say only how much and not how many, we know that the verb there must be singular. Do you understand that? So be very careful with sentences like these where we have the indefinite pronoun some. Rule number 3. The indefinite pronoun neither must always be followed by nor, while either must always be followed by or. Example, neither the parent nor the child attends the function held in the library. Sentence 2. Either red peas or pumpkin soup will be served at the function. For sentences containing neither nor, or either or, the verb must be in agreement with the closer subject, as seen in the first example. The verb attends is in agreement with child and not parents. Number 4. In English, we use too many before countable nouns and too much before uncountable nouns. For example, there are too many students in the auditorium at lunchtime. He's got too much spare time. Some examples of countable nouns are as follows: pupils, town, village, educators, competitors. Examples of uncountable nouns are as follows: water, rice, milk, time, flour, sugar. Are you able to provide examples of countable and uncountable nouns? If you are, share them in the comment section below.
Our channel is here to provide you with the latest news, tips, and tricks to help you succeed in school and beyond. By liking, sharing, subscribing, and telling a friend about our channel, You can stay up to date on all of our exciting content.
Continue. Rule number 5. Students need to be able to differentiate between the use of the word fewer and less. Fewer is used to refer to number among things that are counted, as in fewer choices and fewer problems, while less is used to refer to quantity or amount. In essence, fewer is used in reference to countable nouns, while less is used in reference to uncountable nouns. For example, we need less talk and more work. Example number 2, fewer students entered the competition this year. Six, the verb must always be in agreement with the subject of the sentence and not a word from the prepositional phrase. For example, reports of a gigantic earthquake were greatly exaggerated. Now the head subject reports is in agreement with its verb were. Of a gigantic earthquake would have been here the prepositional phrase within this sentence. Did you get that? I trust you did. Number 7. Students should be able to differentiate between when to use the word good and when to use the word well. The word well is an adverb, therefore, it modifies a verb, an adjective, and another adverb, while the term good is an adjective, therefore, it modifies a noun or a pronoun. Examples: Deborah said that her daughter is doing well in school. Example number 2, she is considered a good student because she always obeys the rules. Are you able to differentiate between the two now? Number 8. Students should remember that sentences with a misplaced modifier is considered grammatically unacceptable. A misplaced modifier is a word or a group of words that is not in its correct location or place within a given sentence. For example, the class is littered adjoining the principal's office. Now the words adjoining the principal's office here is a misplaced modifier. The correction to that sentence would be the class adjoining the principal's office is littered. Do you get that? If you did, go ahead and pat yourself on the shoulders. Well done. Rule number 9. Students should remember that sentences with dangling modifiers are unacceptable grammatically. A sentence contains a dangling modifier when there is no subject to refer to. Hence, the sentence sounds absurd. For example, walking home late that night, a black cat climbed the light post. The correction to that sentence would be, when I was walking home late that night, I saw a black cat climbing the light post. Now, for further clarification on misplaced and dangling modifier, you may check the description link below. A video link will be placed that clearly explains the misplaced and dangling modifier. Rule number 10. Students should always remember that pronouns and their antecedents must agree in number. For example, someone left their dog in a hot car with the windows rolled up. Now that sentence is deemed grammatically incorrect because the word there is incorrectly used. Okay, right? Someone, the indefinite pronoun someone is a singular indefinite pronoun, hence it requires a singular pronoun antecedent. As a result of this, the correction to that sentence would be someone left his or her dog in a hot car with the windows rolled up. Did you? Now, here is a reminder of some indefinite pronouns and their antecedent. One requires the antecedent is or her. Someone requires also the antecedent is or her. Each and every also require the antecedent is or her. Several require the antecedent there, and all require the antecedent there. Note well, the singular indefinite pronouns require a singular pronoun antecedent, while the plural indefinite pronoun requires a plural pronoun antecedent. I trust that this is helpful. Rule number 11. Students should be careful when using the various punctuation marks, such as the semicolon and the colon. A semicolon is used to separate two independent clauses, while a colon is used to introduce items in a list. Examples: Martha has gone to the library. Her sister has gone to play soccer. You would have seen there that these two independent clauses are separated by a semicolon. Item number 2. The study of linguistics includes these three areas: phonology, morphology, and syntax. And you would have seen there the use of the colon to introduce the list of the three areas, and that of course is phonology, morphology, and syntax. Students should know when to use among versus between. The preposition among is used in reference to three or more items, things, or persons, while the preposition between is used in reference to two items, things, or persons. Examples: 1. We shared the marbles among the four boys. 2. Janet divided the cookies between the two children. Number 13. Students ought to ensure that they use the appropriate homophone when they write. If sentence contains the wrong homophone, then the sentence is deemed grammatically unacceptable. Homophones are words that sound alike but have different spellings and meaning. Example: the teacher read the instruction aloud, ALLOWED, in class. The correction would be the teacher read the instruction aloud, ALOUD, in class. Do you remember homophones? Examples of homophones: whether, WEATHER, and whether, WHETHER, affect, AFFECT, and effect, EFFECT, and their, THEIR, and THERE. And that is highlighted because this one proved to be problematic for some students. And then you have soul, SOLE, and soul, SOUL, and fate, FAITH, and fate, FATE, and boy, BOY, and boy, BUOY. So of course, again, students, you need to remember the meaning of these words in order to differentiate when to use one homophone versus the other. Number 14. Whenever you write, there should be consistency of tense. Consistent tense means using the same verb tense whenever necessary within the same sentence or paragraph. Consistent tense Verb tense clearly establish the time of the actions being described. Shifting from one tense to another without a good reason is not only incorrect, but it is confusing and distracting as well. Example, Dr. Chills smiled and welcomes the next patient. Now that is deemed incorrect because you have the verb smiled, it's in the past, and then you have welcomes is in the present tense. So the correction would be Dr. Chills smiled and welcomed the next patient. Number 15. Students should be able to differentiate between regular and irregular verbs. Regular verbs form their past and past participle by adding ed or d or t, while irregular verbs form their past and past participle in an unusual manner. Thus, the need to study these formations. All verbs have four principal parts, whether irregular or regular. These are present, present participle, past, and past participle. Example, she goes to the supermarket. She is going to the supermarket. She went to the supermarket. She has gone to the supermarket. Number 16. Rule 16 reads, whenever a sentence begins with the expression not only, it must contain the expression but also within the given sentence. Not, for example, not only is he a gifted writer, but he is also a superb cook. Secondly, not only do the employees want better management, but they also want reduced working hours too. Number 17. If the word scarcely is used to begin a sentence, then it is often followed by the verb had. And within the sentence form, there is the subordinating conjunction when. For example, scarcely had the demonstration started when trouble broke out and the police moved in to arrest the people. Number 18. Sentences that begin with the expression no sooner must be followed by the verb had. And somewhere within the sentence, there is the use of the subordinating conjunction than. For example, no sooner had she finished her speech than the lights went out. Rule number 19. A sentence is considered grammatically unacceptable when it contains a redundancy. A sentence is said to be redundant when there are two or more words or phrases that express the same idea or meaning. Example, the mechanic told him to reverse back the car. Correction, the mechanic told him to reverse the car, because reverse and back is expressing the same idea, because reverse means to go back, so you can't reverse back, okay? Right, but you know persons would use it in their everyday speech, but reverse means to go back, so reverse, okay? So the mechanic told him to reverse the car. A reminder of some redundant expressions: reason and why, soul and monopoly, ATM and machine, disinterested and impartial, refunded and back, refund and back, refer and back. And I'm sure you have been looking at some of these with your teachers, so continue to revise this section. Rule number 20. Sentences containing a cliche is considered unacceptable. A cliche is an overused expression. Some examples of cliches are make hay while the sun shines, all that glitters is not gold, as busy as a bee. Note well, once the given sentence contains a cliche, then you must select option B, which is contains a cliche, mix or mixed use metaphor.